Hello and welcome to News 9. I'm Nishchita, and first up, the Mumbai and Delhi international airports have been placed on full alert as 112 Indian nationals are returning from the Ebola-hit Liberia today. Elaborate precautionary measures have been taken to screen the 112 people as they arrive at the airports. 3 NRIs have been rushed to undergo tests for Ebola already. My colleague Arun joins us with more details on this. Well, Arun, the Ebola alert now well and truly reaching India.
That's right, Nishchita. You have to remember that Africa has a good or a fairly large population of Indians. Many of them are professionals who work there, and there is obviously the scare of Ebola spreading far and wide as far as Africa is concerned, and many of them have taken the decision to return back home. That is why even as we speak, the airports have been put on high alert. Remember, as we speak, there are no evidences of people contracting Ebola or dying in the country. But the Union Health Ministry is completely seized of the idea, and they want to ensure that whoever reaches the Indian shores doesn't carry any trace of that Ebola virus. So that's the reason why this elaborate screening system has been put in place as far as the international airports in both Delhi and Mumbai are concerned. In fact, in Mumbai, as you rightly pointed out, we are also given to believe that there have been elaborate facilities provided to directly shift these people who suffer from what is called as EVD symptoms to a hospital, to the designated hospital, in an ambulance which is parked at the bay in the hospital. So clearly the government is working overtime to ensure nothing untoward happens. But in the interim, let me just point out to you that a 32-year-old person who arrived from Lagos in Nigeria, remember Nigeria, Liberia, they're all neighboring nations in Africa, and there is a very big scare that probably the Ebola virus could have spread to parts of Nigeria. So that particular person in question, the Indian who arrived from Lagos, has been kept in isolation in a Mumbai hospital, and he is reportedly to have been tested negative as far as the Ebola virus is concerned, and he is apparently recovered from the fever, is what we are given to believe from the hospital authorities, Nishchita.
Well, and also, do we know the situation at the Bengaluru International Airport, Arun? What is the status of the alert like?
There is an alert. Remember, when we talk of anyone arriving, most of these arrivals happen at airports. And while a general alert has been issued, even in Bengaluru, because we do also have some people who could arrive from Africa, the airport authorities are on a massive alert to ensure that the patients are screened, or the passengers rather are screened when they arrive at the terminal, Nishchita.
Right, absolutely. Thank you, Arun, for joining us with all those details. Well, there we have it. The Indian airports are now on Ebola alert. All international airports have been put on alert as 112 people are arriving from Liberia. 3 of them have been immediately taken in for testing, and as per reports, there is no signs, there is no reason for any concern at this point in time. And meanwhile, a Liberian doctor taking an experimental anti-Ebola drug has died. Well, this information came in soon after reports emerged that 2 individuals had survived because of the consumption of the drug. Dr. Abraham Borba, the deputy chief medical doctor in the country's largest hospital, was one of the 3 Liberians taking the experimental drug ZMapp, credited with saving 2 Americans infected with Ebola. There has been no update on the condition of the other 2 patients. Information Minister Louis Brown said Dr. Borba was showing signs of improvement, but yesterday he took a turn for the worse. It is believed Dr. Borba died in Liberia capital, Monrovia. The situation in Liberia has rapidly lurched from a medical disaster into a humanitarian one, as authorities have battled to contain the virus against local superstitions and fears. In fact, the Ebola virus has claimed another life, and this time around it is a doctor who was being administered the life-saving drug that is in its experimental stage, even as the reports emerged, heartening reports emerged that the life-saving drug had managed to rescue 2 people. Here is a case where a doctor who was being administered the same drug breathed his last. And well, the 4 children from K.R.Puram who went missing have been traced and rescued by the police. They were found at Salem in neighbouring Tamil Nadu. The 4 who were missing were 12-year-old Dominic Benedict, 10-year-old Ruffle Roy, 10-year-old Vinay and 1 Praveen. The kids had gone missing when they went collecting donation for the forthcoming Ganesha festivities. When the children were questioned as to where exactly they had gone missing, they responded saying that they accidentally got onto the wrong train, as they also had plans of going to Dharmasthala. The grandmother with whom the children were staying had refused to give them permission to go to Dharmasthala and instead had said that the children will be taken back to their respective parents. But fortunately, the police officials managed to trace the 4 little boys down, as they had lost their way by getting on to the wrong train. And well, there was a morning surprise, or rather shock, to several government officials from Lokayukta sleuths today. Firstly, the Lokayukta sleuths raided Kolar Municipality Commissioner at his residence. Jagadish has been accused of amassing wealth illegally disproportionate to his known sources of income. The Lokayukta also raided Deputy Tehsildar Shivananjappa's house in BTM Layout, Urban Development Department's Assistant Executive Engineer Sitaraman's house, and also they went on to raid Basaveshwara. They also went on to raid, in fact, 6 other officials spread across various other districts in the state. The Food Corporation Officer Shivananda Kamat's house was raided in Shimoga. Child Development and Protection Officer Ramakrishna's house was raided in Mysore. Shahapura Taluk Panchayat Assistant Executive Engineer Bhima Rai Kavaldar was also raided in Yadgir. In fact, there we have it. The Lokayukta has carried out raids on numerous officials after receiving tip-off that many of these officials had amassed wealth disproportionate to their known sources of income, and that is the reason why, without wasting any time, the officials swooped down on these officials and have raided their residences as well as offices. The outcome of the raids are not known and will not be known at this point in time, as the Lokayukta will not be divulging the details as of now. While getting a boost from the Assembly by-polls, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has finally decided to expand the cabinet, and this decision will be made in the presence of State Congress in charge, Digvijay Singh.
The General Secretary of Congress and the State Congress in charge Minister Digvijay Singh is in Bengaluru. Discussions on cabinet expansion will soon get underway at the KPCC office. Who will the Chief Minister favour and who will he discard? After an enormous win in the Assembly by-polls, it's a now or never situation for Siddaramaiah. The Chief Minister, who always avoided the topic of cabinet expansion, has finally come forward to address it. It is still unclear if the Chief Minister will take a decision to expand the cabinet or reconstruct it. This speculation comes in the wake of the Chief Minister's decision to drop some of the ministers from the cabinet. The names of ministers doing the rounds to be probably dropped from the cabinet are Amrish, Kimmane Ratnakar, Kamarul Islam, Shamanur Shivashankarappa. Those in the running to get a minister's berth are G. Parmeshwar as Deputy Chief Minister or a minister, and Kagudu Timmappa. The Coordination Committee headed by Digvijay Singh and Siddaramaiah will see participation from other Congress ministers including D.K. Shivkumar, K.J. George, G. Parmeshwar and Shantaram Nayak. The committee, along with discussing cabinet expansion, will also address issues on Arkavati land denotification and the controversial KPSC recruitment. The committee will also discuss appointing chairmen and presidents for boards and corporations. 15 Congress candidates are in the fray for 4 vacant cabinet posts. Who will Siddaramaiah choose? Vinayak Gangoli, News9, Bengaluru.
But on the other hand, it was quite surprising to see Speaker Kaguru Timmappa himself question the authority of Digvijaya Singh. In fact, the Speaker went on to raise several eyebrows when he went on to question who Digvijaya Singh was to decide who should be inducted into the cabinet and who should not be.
ಈಗ ಯಾರನ್ನ ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಯಾರನ್ನ ಬಿಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಯ ಪರಮಾಧಿಕಾರ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಮೂಗು ತೋರ್ಸಕ್ ಬರೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
ದಿಗ್ವಿಜಯ್ ಸಿಂಗ್ ಅವರು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ನನಗೆ.
Well, in fact, Kaguru Timmappa going on to state that it is the prerogative of the Chief Minister to decide who should be inducted into the cabinet and who should not be, and that Digvijaya Singh does not have the authority to do so. Although he did not mention it in as many words, it seemed like that's what he indicated by questioning who Digvijaya Singh was. Well, let's not forget that Congress received a shot in the arm because of yesterday's by-poll results. 2 out of 3 constituencies went in their favour, one of them being Bellary Rural, after which the Chief Minister seems to have decided to reshuffle the cabinet. But on the other hand, statements such as these have raised questions if all is well within the Congress and if the Congress is indeed united at this point in time. Let's once again listen to what the Speaker had to say.
ಈಗ ಯಾರನ್ನ ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಯಾರನ್ನ ಬಿಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಯ ಪರಮಾಧಿಕಾರ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಮೂಗು ತೋರ್ಸಕ್ ಬರೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
ದಿಗ್ವಿಜಯ್ ಸಿಂಗ್ ಅವರು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ನನಗೆ.